last week was just spectacular. The lights, the sound, 200 students on stage with a professional, internationally renowned trombonist and conductor. Just was an amazing, joyous night, and really made music what it's supposed to be, joy. And I really enjoyed it. So it's a good tradition. Hopefully we'll continue with our electrify your chorus, your strings, your band, and keep that going, because that was a lot of fun. Over at the middle school on April 4th and 5th, our 8th grade class had a successful and exciting journey to Washington, D.C., filled with historic landmarks, educational experiences, and unforgettable memories. A great time had by all. Just want to take a moment to thank our district administration, our building principals, for planning, securing field trips, communication, transportation, safety, security, overnights, all night. They do a tremendous job for all those field trips, and they're a lot of work and a lot of stress and a lot of worry, but they're always a great experience to our students. So thank you to our administrators for their work on all of those field trips. Over at middle school, it is Spirit Week at the middle school leading up to the break, and students get to show off their creativity and camaraderie through theme days this week, like Hobby Day, Twin Day. So today was Twin Day at the middle school. Shoreham-Wading River Day, Hawaiian Day, and Friday, of course, Pajama Day. Over at Wading River, last Friday's Philadelphia adventure for the 5th graders was an incredible immersive experience. Started with tours of historical Philadelphia. They visited the Liberty Bell, where the Constitution was signed, Independence Hall, explored scientific investigations in the Franklin Institute, and culminated with a run up the rocky steps at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And I know the sun came out in the afternoon. It was a beautiful day, so great trip. And Wading River is hosting Evening of the Arts tomorrow evening from 5:45 to 8:30 p.m., where families may enjoy string performances by our 3rd graders, an art scavenger hunt supported by our art ambassadors, along with artwork from students throughout the school. Over at Miller Avenue, the annual Miller Avenue Science Fair was held last Wednesday. I had a chance to visit that. The gym was filled with some really amazing projects, and this year's winners are Grade 2, Braden Stroh for his experiment on exploding bags safely. Grade 1, Hunter Bernardino, can you escape a black hole? I did get a chance to try that experiment myself, a lot of fun. Yeah. I did, and I'm here. Kindergarten, Neely Rogers, the Hollywood Hotel. A lot of energy, a lot of effort, great projects, and students are able to talk about their science experiments, so wonderful. They've had a number of assemblies over the past 2 weeks at Miller Avenue, including the Sweet Briar Nature Center, the Super Scientific Circus and Jester Gym. And thank you to the Miller Avenue PTO, who hosted a VIP and me dance for all of our students this past weekend. I saw some of the glow photos, very cool. Everyone had an opportunity to dance and celebrate with their classmates and their special person. Just an announcement, this Thursday night, a couple of our English teachers and students and staff are putting together the first annual Poetry Under the Stars, Thursday night from 6 to 8 p.m. at the outdoor amphitheater. If the weather holds up, should be a fun night. Food, lights, the fountain is on. All are welcome. If it rains, it will be in the cafeteria, I'm advised. And then finally, on tonight's agenda, we have some presentations. We have the Wading River Student Council, I think, is here tonight. We have a performance by some of our Wading River SRO superstars. We have a student-produced music album presentation by Alex and Nick Friedlander. Dr. Palicelli is going to give an update on our apiary program, our beehive program, and Mr. Arcuri will give a presentation on the budget this evening. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Action-packed tonight. Okay, opportunities for board members. Mike, you up?
Yeah. Good evening. Just wanted to quickly say thank you to the board and the community for allowing myself and Mr. Smith to attend the National School Board Conference about a week and a half ago. Just wanted to mention a few of the sessions that we attended that we felt were important, and we look forward to communicating further with the board and the district. One of those sessions that we attended, social media and youth mental health, personalized learning, and artificial intelligence leading education to the future. Just quickly, I wanted to share a slide from the social media and youth mental health, some interesting stats. 62% of children ages 13 to 18 use social media every day. 20% of US teens use YouTube and Instagram almost constantly. Study young people say social media is the main reason youth mental health is getting worse. 45% of teen girls who use TikTok, 30% who use Snapchat, and 34% who use YouTube feel addicted. And this lastly, a study, teens receive 237 notifications a day on average.
Wow.
So it's really, really impactful. So it was a great conference. I know many of us have attended the regional ones, and it was great to be able to go to the national one and see a lot of the work across the nation and collaborate with some of those other board members.
Thank you for taking the time to go.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. And I'll just add to that. This was my first time attending a national conference as well, and I think it presented a very valuable opportunity to network with fellow board members, education professionals, and industry experts from all over the nation, which gave us a really unique perspective on what other districts are dealing with. Some are very similar to what we're experiencing here in Shoreham. Others is very, very different. Multiple sessions that I attended that, really facilitate the exchange of ideas, best practices, and solutions to common challenges in education. And as Mr. Lewis mentioned, specifically around mental health, equity and inclusion, social media and the impact it's having on our children, and then the artificial intelligence impact on education. So I just want to thank the district and community again for the opportunity to attend. I definitely got a lot out of it. Looking forward to taking some of those ideas and practices that we learned while we were out there and implementing them here to just improve the life of our students and for our district. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, well, thank you. I know, as board members, we spend a lot of time in committees, and like you said, we spend a lot of time going out to local and regional, so taking time away from your family, is appreciated, especially bringing back that information,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what helps us become a better board as a whole, so thank you for that.
There was one session I attended, they had a portrait of a student.
Oh,
So that was
Yeah.
something I know we've been doing
Oh,
in curriculum.
lines up.
Happy to
So that's
see.
interesting to share that as well.
okay, great, thank you. Okay, moving on. Statements from residents, do we have one?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. McMorris and Mr. McMorris.
Welcome back. Elisa and John McMorris, Wading River, New York, co-presidents of the Andrew McMorris Foundation. And this is just a little brief thing about our donation to the district for Phase 2 of the amphitheater garden area. So as many of you know, and many people sitting here, you know about our tragic outcome, what happened to our son on September 30th, where he was hiking with his Boy Scout troop and he was killed by a drunk driver. And there are really no words to talk about the loss of a child. You're forever broken. The ripple effect of this tragedy reached far and wide in our small community and beyond. Through our despair, we found hope in creating a foundation to honor Andrew's passions of art, music, aviation, and scouting. A way to change from parenting him to parenting his legacy. Our foundation board is 100% volunteer-based, and I can never thank my board members enough, including Laura Goodell, who's sitting out here as our treasurer, Kim DePaulo is our secretary. My sisters, Dawn and Melissa, are our vice president and our corresponding secretary, and my daughter is our program director for events and our programs. We have a long list of advisory board members and volunteers who do so much behind the scenes, and the ultimate goal is to share Andrew's love and kindness to create meaningful change so that no one else has to endure the nightmare of losing a child. Our mission is to create positive change through legislation, advocacy, recognizing the achievements of students, community members who embody Andrew's spirit through scholarships, grants, and leadership awards. And finally, develop areas that can be sources of comfort and inspiration, which is the goal of this garden. Our SWR community has been incredibly supportive, and we can never thank everyone enough for their care and concern. We have thought long and hard about what we hope for Andrew's legacy, and this garden seems like the perfect fit. We hope you agree to allow part of the legacy to remain here at SWR for future generations. Today, the Andrew McMorris Foundation, along with various donations to our foundation, including from Riverhead Building Supply, Nine Brothers Building Supply, and Emerald Landscaping, as well as BBS Architecture, are grateful to finally donate the upper level area of the amphitheater to Shoreham-Wading River High School. John, I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to all that will be contributing to this donation. This reminds us of the impact each of us can make when we come together for a common cause. The collective generosity will leave a lasting legacy that will benefit future generations. There will be a patio for seating and a small plaque. My daughter's one and only request for this project was to create something meaningful that will be used by SWR for years to come and be a reminder for this to never happen again. It seems fitting to complete this by June 2024, which would be Andrew's graduating year, and graduating with all his classmates. With a commitment to carrying on a legacy of inspiration, even in the darkest moments, we can come together and find a way to step forward in a truly meaningful way. We hope this will be a joy-filled, thoughtful space with honors Andrew's spirit of kindness and laughter, as well as we hope a plaque may read something of the nature that this garden serves as a place to slow down and never waste a moment. So we're very happy to donate this to the district for years and years to come. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Elisa. Thank you, John.
In addition to the donation and the completion of the upper level, I just want to thank the Andrew McMorris Foundation for the impact that you continue to have on our students' lives. In parenting Andrew's legacy, you help us parent all of our students as well. Last week, your presentation in conjunction with the Attorney General's office really, just personally speaking, made such an impact on my daughter, who said that all of her peers were not only in tears, but also were extremely touched by what you shared and what Andrew continues to do to impact this community. So thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next agenda item, we have student staff recognition, and first up is going to be Mr. Perinola. Yeah.
Hard to follow that, so Lisa, just full support of you and John's mission and everything you're looking to accomplish and have accomplished so far. Talking about making a change, our student council tries to make a change in our little community, in our school, and the larger community as well. And it is my honor to introduce Kerry McGuire and Carrie Ann DeMorrow, Kelly McGuire and Carrie Ann DeMorrow. Having two Ks in that's okay. And they are our student council leaders, and they're going to introduce the ones that have the most hope, the third graders, as they're moving up. And they're going to share a little bit about what student council is and does. So, Mr. Morrow, Ms. McGuire.
Okay, welcome everyone. I am Kelly McGuire, one of the supervisors for Student Council, along with Carrie DeMorrow. We have some student council members here to tell you all about what we've been up to this year. And today we have some student presenters named Jenna Eppelsheimer, Maya Gonzalez, Amelia Sarcone, Riley Shea, Grace Wesnowski, and Alexa Uhas. Take it away.
So far in Student Council, this year, 5th grade hosted a school-wide food drive called the Food Train. All aboard the food train, toot toot. We donate hundreds of items to 3 different food pantries for those in need. In January, 4th grade got to meet with Mr. Poole and talk about all of the projects we were working on, as well as any ways we could improve our school community. Fourth grade also started our school-wide cereal bowl. It was quite the touchdown because we donated cereal to 4 different charities in our community, all just in time for the Super Bowl. We even incorporated science by taking all of the cereal boxes and using them as dominoes to create a chain reaction.
Is that a 50?
I was going to ask about this. Yeah.
I like the 50.
Nice.
We organized them by weight and put them in order by weight, so that way they would all fall on top of each other the right way.
Wow.
So it was a really cool way to incorporate science. Yes, it was a 4th grade science unit, which is using energy potential. Yeah. Energy transfer.
That is fantastic. So I just have a question. So were you able to get it to go all in one shot, or was first time? Wow, that's great.
A straight run. We used about 200 out of 600 cereal boxes that were collected.
Wow. Okay,
We
that's
kind of did a prototype with dominoes first.
Yeah.
And because we were trying to figure out, like, how are we going to lay this out to make it all go? But it really worked out first try. It was awesome.
that's fantastic.
They did a great job.
Great job. Yeah.
In celebration of 50 years, we set up the cereal boxes in the shape of a giant 50. Currently, 3rd grade plans to promote Earth Day awareness by doing our annual Chalk the Walk activity, where each class gets to create their own Earth Day message right on our own sidewalk. We are also planning on doing an Earth Day Spirit Week and recycling project in the future. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Paranello, were you coming up? Okay. Just making sure. I lost sight of you.
Sorry. Student council is such an integral part of everything we do. So I thank you. You guys are amazing. You do so much in our school, everything. So, and in addition, I don't know if you brought your towels. I don't know if you saw the memo, but we are going to be going under the sea in just a few moments. I think we brought Sebastian, Ursula, and Ariel, and some of you might know them as Brody Kalita, who's it, Nora Anderson, and Tess Gonzalez. I think they're going to be coming up in just a couple of moments. And if you want to just come on up, and I just want to give, come on up real quick, come on up. I know it's completely nerve-wracking when you're doing it in my office or Mr. Verity's room, and then you're doing it in front of a live studio audience. Well, yeah, that is perfect. And I want to give a shout-out while we're getting set up. Mr. Verity is the director of our SRO, who's done an amazing job, and he couldn't do it without the two people on either side. Just we got three right here joining together, and that's Melissa Levonic and Kim DePaula. They are absolutely incredible. Can we give them a round of applause? All right, so just some backstory. We were like wondering what we're going to do, and we didn't know like one song or whatever. So the kids and Mr. Verity we sat around and we put this together. So I hope you enjoy it. We've never done quite a medley before, so this is your show, okay? Nice and loud in the microphone. Ready? Get the music, don't worry. Don't have to go. to the Board of Ed, all the support and administration. You make everyone a star, and you give that opportunity through the arts, through the sciences. You give opportunities for all of us. So thank you, heartfelt thank you for everyone.
And I'd like to say for the board, thank you for coming tonight, because a lot of times we're dealing with business and policy. So seeing this, listening to budget presentations.
Maybe if they do the budget presentation, maybe more people will stay.
So thank you really for making this a great board meeting
We'll ask
tonight.
Mr. Curie to sing the budget presentation.
Or stay for backup. You could use.
That was beautiful.
Great, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we hit those. Coming up, is it Mr. Palicelli? Did we miss one? Oh, I'm sorry. Student-produced music album. Alex. Alex Zhang, you ready? Sure am. Okay.
All right. So, being a member of this community, one of the things I truly value and admire the most is the amount of talent and passion and skill that is showcased at each and every one of the performances within our district, and there truly are a lot of them. I mean, we just got an incredible one right now. Between, the different plays and student productions and musicals and different concerts we have, this community really is a musical one, and I truly love it. And I think what makes all that talent and skill pop ever more is the amount of collaboration in our different departments. A chain is only strong as its weakest link, and I feel like in this community, everyone is not only focused on perfecting their skills and talents, but helping and working with and uplifting others. And something that I feel like embodies this more than anything is this project that we're about to present. I want to make it really clear, I had no part in making or putting this together or anything like that. I just heard about it and thought it was really cool. All of it was done by my friend Nick. I think it's really awesome. And he brought to us 3 little snippets that are a work in progress for the album that he is working on. So, yeah.
The 3 snippets are the 3 snippets we're going to show quick are, they'll go in order. I'll explain after. The second track.
That's a really good sound.
And this is our 3rd track. This is a part of a completed song. So that's the end of the 3rd track. So the album I'm working on is titled Canary. It is a collaborative concept album, and the 3 tracks I showed you, the first one was a song by Jacob Masulo. The second one was an interlude track, which I'll explain the purpose of later. And the third one was a song by Logan Young, which he sang and did the guitar to, and was produced by James Wicks, with a little bit of production elements. So the album I'm working on, Canary, the point, as Alex explained, is to bring in the students from around the school, all these different art styles that they use to express their musical talents, to come together to produce one cohesive album. So the way the album is formatted is it has a story to it, making it a concept album, broken up into interlude tracks. For example, the one that's shown, which is more of like an environmental one, which showcases kind of the environment it all takes place in, and along with the songs that go through. It's broken up into 3 acts, each tying to a part of the story, although I can't spoil too much already. But there's different interlude tracks, some like radio tracks, just a bunch of different things, bringing in some actors from our school as well as musicians. We're also working with some writers too. So the point of the album is to bring together the idea of collaboration, and it also has the secondary theme of kind of not taking for granted where you are in the moment and kind of living where you are, embracing what you have, along with the collaboration. And as these songs are being produced, each student is creating their own songs. It's kind of meshing together and building this story together. So I'll talk about why I created this album, because it helps explain it. So through my entire life, I've always enjoyed expressing my individual creativity, from like stop motion animations in my room to little songs on GarageBand. And just always in my free time, what I would do is I would spend time creating. But once the pandemic period hit, I was expecting, as it began, I would have all this free time to create just by myself. Everything I could do. But this was the first time in my life I experienced a full burnout, and I lost all motivation. At the time, I didn't really know why. Kind of just felt like I lost the spark. It wasn't until later into high school when the Media Production Club was started up, and I kind of took a shot. I went into it, and I started out, I was a little in the corner, a little quiet, not really doing much. And then we were presented with the bike safety video contest, and I decided I'll try something. I'll see how it goes. I took on the lead producer role, and I could not do this alone. I could not make the whole video, so I went around and I found some other students to work with it, and we came together and we created an entire music video to showcase bike safety. We ended up winning first place in the county, and as we won that first place, it kind of just came to me. I realized that my spark wasn't gone. I was no longer creative. It was that I couldn't just do it on my own. The collaboration really brought it together. Like, just the idea of music, that whole element just really tied it together. It's not something I would have thought of. It was, although graduated now, James Wicks, he helped come with the idea of the music. And so as time went on, I was trying to think of how I could showcase that collaboration, create a new project, and that's when I came up with the idea for Canary, which brings it together. And I actually have James Wicks, who I met through the creation of the Media Production Club. He's now doing the mixing and the mastering of the entire album. So that's pretty much the goal is to just create this cohesive album that tells a story. It has a very layered and complex narrative to it, while also showcasing individual talents that are just unique as we go through, and just kind of shows what our school's all about.
That's great. So I'm a big audiophile. So the first question is, when do I get to hear the whole album in its entirety? Do you guys have a timeline ready for it?
So for each of the artists, they're all working on their songs individually, and their time frame is end of the school year to have it done around like June. Then we're hoping in July is when the album's going to be done. We want to have like a listening party event, however that may form out.
That sounds great. And what music are you into? I'm just curious, like because it was such a diverse sampling there, right, in terms of the three snippets. So, what influences you the most?
Personally, I have a very large range of music that I listen to, which is kind of something I really want to include in this. Like, I'll listen to hip hop, pop. I think that's important. Just having all these genres really just shows a wide range. So that's the goal, is to have something from every genre included.
That's great. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Okay, great.
Thank you, Alex, for bringing this to our board meeting, and Mr. Friedlander for being here and sharing so much from the heart. That's really touching, and I commend you for opening up and sharing your inspiration. Thank you.
Alex, if there's any way to circle back in July and get it back to the school, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just so that we can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. We have a tentative plan to be showcasing it in the auditorium. Once those plans are finalized, all members of the community will be invited. You could bring your friends. It will be a very good time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it, definitely. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So we have, next report up is Mr. Joe Palicelli with the APRIL program. I'm excited about this one, too. So.
Yep.
I have kind of a different feel from these last two presentations, but very exciting and very timely to be doing this presentation with you now, because it's literally about a week from now that we'll actually be installing the bees in
Did you
in
bring
their
a
house.
sample of honey or anything?
Not yet,
there
not yet,
Oh,
but
okay.
stay
Okay.
tuned, stay tuned.
All
Oh, there we go. Now we gotta go back. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I think everybody knows that this project, this beekeeping project, was inspired by Mr. Nohill, who is just as passionate about the environment as he is about teaching. So this is his inspiration that I kind of feel like I was just connecting the dots to try and bring this to fruition. So it addresses an environmental problem while also enriching our students' experience. This whole project was designed to be a student-centered, hands-on experience for kids. It was not just about teaching the concepts or the life cycles of a bee, but actually experiencing it, actually maintaining it. So you see, so we're going to talk. So I'm going to discuss about the organization and kind of the logistics and what was put in place and where we're at. Mr. Nohill, thank you for being here with your students. Mr. Nohill is going to speak to the program and some of the resources that we're employing as part of this program, and then we have some students here to describe how it's impacted them already, and their role, how they see their role, and where they're going to continue this learning and how this impacts their life going forward. So I can tell you, so coming back to Shoreham-Wading River, so I had the opportunity, the privilege to make a lot of relationships in my first tenure here. One of those was with our colleague, Kevin Nohill. So here I come back and to rekindle those relationships, and so there I am in his classroom, and he says, Joe, would you think I'm crazy if I wanted to raise bees here on the property? And so we started putting our initial thoughts together and then proposed it to Mr. Poole and the cabinet and received their support. So with their support, Mr. Nohill and Chris Kelly. So Chris Kelly is I want to say a friend, right, Kev? Probably a friend. Right, so a friend, but also a master beekeeper registered with New York State. We brought him in as a consultant to walk us through and kind of give us some hints and guidance of, where they should be, how we should protect them, how we should protect everybody else. Water source, a lot of things had to be taken into consideration. So Chris Kelly kind of walked us through that. So from a lot of the things that he shared, the protecting of the hives, repurposing the shed was the perfect fit for it. It encases the hives, which provides a lot of protection that Kevin could probably speak to. And also, we're putting the fence around it to protect the bees, but also protect people from going to the hive. So the hive, so when we get inside the shed, so the hives that were selected purposefully. So they're not just the Langstroth hives of old. Two of the hives are what they call flow hives. So they're kind of a newer technology, Kev, right? We'd say a newer technology. It's a patent by a guy in Australia. It makes it easy to extract the honey from the hives. So it allows it to be a more inclusive hive for students. So you don't have to be taking hives apart, dismantling them to extract the honey. You can extract it with these flow hives in a much easier fashion. So we've also incorporated a technology package that monitors the bees, how many come and go. It also monitors the weight, the humidity, basically the health of the hive. And it's a package that kids can have on their app. It's an app. So excuse me. So students can actually monitor the health of the hive from this app. We've also included, which again, kind of fitting, as we're tying up loose ends and getting everything fitted for the bees to come in, we've installed streaming cameras inside the shed. So that way we want our teachers at Miller Avenue, Wading River, and Purdell to be able to see what's going on inside the hive. Ricky, do you have a quick view that we can show? So we haven't particularly aimed the cameras yet, but we have them in place. So we're going to position them to where they can see the flight of the bees coming in and coming out, give the kids kind of a view, and maybe later on use that to do some kind of where the students you know, do like a little training for some of the younger kids using these cameras. I think it's a great opportunity for teachers to be able to bring up on their smartboard and be able to invite kids.
Is that a live feed?
That's a live feed, yeah. It
Nice.
is live.
Very clear.
So, thank you, Ricky. So from that technology, so we come to the timeline now. So we are the end of the spring recess, the Saturday of the spring recess. All things going well is the date that we hope to be bringing those bees in. Chris Kelly is also the, so it's his queens that go upstate, and then they end up bringing them back with what they call a nuke, and I'm sure Kevin will speak more to it. We're going to be installing those nukes on that Saturday, again, barring any unforeseen circumstances. So there's a lot of people that I do need to really recognize here. So building administration, big support for everything that we've needed. Building maintenance and facilities, they've been crazy good, Glenn. They've been super helpful, super supportive, and very timely. So they've been very supportive. IT has been, it's been a lot. A lot of things popped up that we weren't anticipating. IT has been super helpful, and again, super responsive to our needs. My own lab aide, Jenny, did a lot of research on which type of cameras. So there's a lot of work that went on behind the scenes that brought this project to fruition. So, and of course, Mr. No-Hill, you know, thank you for your inspiration, and I think it has a positive impact on kids. So. You hit the orange button, I think goes forward. All right.
There we go. All right. Foremost, like Dr. Paolicelli said, I'd like to start off by thanking everyone that's been involved. District level administration, buildings, grounds, Jenny Calvert, Dr. Paolicelli, everyone has been so supportive and truly excited about the project, equally as excited as I am about this. I brought a couple of my friends up here tonight, a couple of guys from our class. We'll introduce them in a second, and they'll speak about their experiences as well. So the entire project has been super exciting. It's a truly immersive, hands-on experience for the kids. The bees, like Dr. Paolicelli said, they're still up in Massachusetts right now. They're being prepared to be shipped down. I will be going up with my friend and mentor, Chris Kelly, on that Thursday of vacation. We drive through the night. We go up to Massachusetts. We load up about anywhere between 450 and 500 packages of bees. They come in these small boxes with 5 frames. I guess I got nervous for a second. I didn't know what happened here. And then we load them up on the trucks. We drive through the night, and we return them to Long Island. They'll be dropped off at Fink's Farm right down the road in Wading River, and then that distribution will be on Saturday. So that's why that's why the installation will be on that Saturday. It's all very time sensitive. So a little bit about me. I keep hives of my own. I work with, again, my friend and mentor, Chris Kelly from Promised Land Apiaries. He's out in Mattatuck. Really, it was COVID that kind of brought the whole entire situation together. I had, up until that point, read as much as I could about bees and watched as much as I could about bees, but never had the time to actually start working with bees. And then when I finally did start working with bees, I realized I knew nothing about bees. And it's been a learning curve right along. I'm very fortunate to have the experiences that I've had in the short amount of time that I've been working, and I'm equally grateful that I'm able to share my experiences with the younger generations today, especially with our now inaugural offering of beekeeping at Shoreham. I believe that this is going to be a big thing for years to come, and I'm very excited to not only finally get the bees here, but then to keep moving forward and keep this tradition going. We were fortunate enough to receive $2,500 in grant money from the Suffolk County Soil and Water Conservation District through their Ag in the Classroom program. So that allowed us to purchase additional equipment and sort of ease some of the financial burden on the district. Moving right along here. So the kids, they're going to speak more about this in just a few seconds, but they've had a chance to be fully hands-on in the construction of the equipment up until this point. They'll be fully hands-on once the bees come. They'll be properly suited, and safety being, of course, the foremost consideration. But this is a truly unique experience for students, not only on Long Island, but in New York State. There's not many beekeeping programs out there. And I'm, like I said earlier, I'm truly grateful that you've afforded our students the opportunity to have this experience and to sort of think outside the box and allow this tremendous opportunity to happen. Before I turn it over to a few students here, does anybody have any questions for me?
I got a lot of questions.
Okay, let's go. All right.
This is amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see this next couple of years. But is this part of a classroom work, or is it after school club?
Classroom work.
Classroom work. Okay.
Yeah, so the kids are getting a full year, and it'll be even more impactful next year once we have the bees. So they'll be working with the bees, doing that hands-on aspect as they're doing the theory part as well. So they're getting everything from really A to Z.
Okay. What class is this?
Long Island Sustainability,
Okay.
but the second year off,
Second.
the part 2. Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
What does winter look like in the program? Are they staying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason too why we have them indoors. That'll really protect them quite a bit from the elements. Winter's the hard part for the bees. So the fact that they'll be indoors, they'll be protected from the elements. It'll provide them with a little bit more of a temperature buffer, so they're not getting the extreme temperature swings that these past couple of winters, it hasn't been very conducive to bees with all the rain and the tremendous storms that we had. So they'll be protected in the winter and they'll stay year round.
You're confident that they'll be okay in there?
Yes,
Okay,
I am.
great.
I mean, there's no way to know for sure. I mean, there's certain things you can't control, like colony collapses and stuff like that. If the queen fails for whatever, there's no guarantee with that. But keeping them indoors definitely does raise the survival curve quite a bit.
What's the typical longevity of a hive? Just out of curiosity.
So as long as there's a queen, an active viable queen, the hive will stay alive. On average, a typical queen, her longevity is anywhere between 2 to 4 years. If she fails prior to that, one of two things happen. If we recognize it as beekeepers, we'll requeen with other queens that we have raised. I don't personally have queens, but again, Chris Kelly does keep queens for that exact reason. If the failure happens and the hive recognizes that it's happened, the hive will produce a new queen on their own if they sense that their current queen is not as viable as she once was. But as long as there's a viable queen, I mean, these colonies can last perpetual. Worker bees, during the summertime, they have a lifespan of about anywhere between 25 and 30 days. So they literally work themselves to death.
I noticed you have two types of, so the flow hive, I'm familiar. The other one, is it similar in the way you can take it apart or not take it apart?
Well, so the Langstroth hive is the sort of old standby. That's the technology that's been used for the last 200 years since
Those
we
are the
started.
ones you completely disassemble.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that is stressful on the bees, but it is the old standby. It's sort of the industry standard. The flow hives are sort of a new technology. They're super cool. When you harvest the honey, instead of breaking the boxes apart and pulling frames out and getting covered in honey, which, by the way, these guys are going to be harvesting honey starting tomorrow.
Just
so
a tap, right?
They're getting a full immersive. I brought some of my honey from my own hives at home that needs to be harvested. So the students in the class starting tomorrow, they're going to learn how that process is done. But the flow hives, you don't get dirty, you don't get messy, you don't break the boxes apart, so it's less stressful. And they have sight windows on the side, so you can literally take an access panel out, take a peek inside, see what's going on, and then so it's a lot less intrusive.
At some point down the road, I guess you would be recycling some of the wax too, right? That's a more
Yeah.
intrusive thing, but
Yeah.
that's
So
a year or two off?
Yeah, I mean, with a new colony, you likely don't take honey the first year because you want them to build up as much storage as possible going into the first winter, and then unless of course you have a very vibrant hive and they're overproducing, then you have to take honey so they have room. But you try to leave as much of the wax as possible because that's where they deposit their eggs, the larvae, the pollen, the nectar, the honey, everything like that. So there is a little bit of wax that comes off the frames when you harvest the honey because you got to take the capping off because the honey's encapsulated. So that little bit of wax that you do get, you melt down, you refine, and often that's worth more and more valuable. People want that more than they want the honey. Can make lip balms, candles, soaps, you name it, makeup, all that stuff out of it.
And how did you guys decide on what brand to be, right? There's different types, Italian and Russian.
Right. So we'll have a mix
I don't know
of.
if you guys knew that, but yeah,
That's very impressive.
So that's fine.
That's good stuff. I like that. You're hired. You're in. So what we found.
We have a suit for you.
Another committee.
We got plenty of suits. These guys, they wanted to wear them today, but we do a mix of Coronolian and Italian bees.
Okay.
You can't really tell can't tell the difference at all. The old joke is the Italian bees talk with their hands, but you can't really tell the difference. But those are the bees that we have found that Chris Kelly, through his research over 50 years of doing it, those are the varieties that have sustained the most and been the most successful in our climate. So when you travel further south, you travel out west, it's different varieties of bees.
Okay. I'll be paying you guys a visit. I have
All
more
right,
questions.
yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
can't
hold
wait.
up all night.
We're excited.
Yeah, we would like a personal field trip if that's
That's,
possible.
hey, there was good light out there. We could go right now. No, it's going to be very cool. Anytime, and I do mean this, and I tell everybody, if at any point in time, whether here, administrator, anybody, I'm more than happy to offer any kind of tours or advice. If you want to just go see it and experience it, it really truly is an amazing experience to be with the bees.
Is there a consideration to put the streaming on like the website for like a YouTube channel or something, or is that
Right.
Yeah, I think there'll be a
Yeah.
link on the district's webpage.
We also have a camera that'll be on the outside as well, so you're almost able to see split screen. You'll see, so the way the shed is set up, the hives will be on the inside, but there'll be access on the outside on that back wall where the bees will hit a landing board and then be able to traverse between the outside, go through the wall and then into their hive.
Right.
And then come the winter time, we'll seal up those holes just a little bit, just provide them a small access point to go in and out during the winter, but they'll have full access during the summer months.
Do we have any signage out there that just kind of just gives people a heads up what's happening inside the fence area, or
So
Honey production?
just people are unaware of beehives and how safe they can be, and
So I had a conversation, what's today, yesterday, with Mr. Andrea and the graphic design class, and they're on it. They're going to make some signs up, and they'll be out. So we will have signage.
Mr. Nohill, thank you to you and your team. It's such an amazing, unique experience.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
It's
this is
really
going to be,
amazing.
it's going to be fun. It's going to be
awesome.
cool. All right.
Mr. Kelly is a great guy. He taught his daughter.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, he's a
Chris,
great guy.
he's a work of art.
Yeah.
you gonna be selling honey in the school store? Is that what I heard?
No. It'll be there, but so like I was saying a little bit earlier before, I do have 4 representatives from the class very quickly that thought of to come tonight and share a little bit about their experiences very quickly. We have Wes Hoden. There's Wes. Next to Wes, we have Gavin McQueenie. Then we have Zach Wilson, and on the end we have Kieran Clifford. They're 4 of 15 that we have in the class, and they're a special group because they're part of the inaugural part. They're part of the onset. So before I turn it, are there any other questions before we invite them to speak about their experience?
No, I want to hear from them.
All right. So first, Wes will just come up, talk about his experience, and then certainly if you have any questions for him, he'll be more than happy.
Yeah, thank you for your leadership there.
Thank you.
Like Mr. Norhill was saying, the process is all very hands-on, and I'm super big into that. I love being able to, work with my hands and get an experience from my own point of view. And it's been so interesting learning about the whole process from building the hives and setting everything up out in the shed and getting ready for the bees to come, down to their behaviors, how they communicate with each other, their role in agriculture and development. Because I took the first year of Long Island Sustainability, and we learned about
production, fertilizer, how plants grow, and we didn't learn anything about the pollinators and the bees that really make that happen. So it's just been a very, very unique experience that I don't think many other students get the opportunity to experience. And I'm just really happy that I could be a part of the growth and the building of this program. And, you know, Mr. Nohill's a great guy. He just really cares about it, and he knows what he's talking about. So I'm happy I could be helping out the whole way and making a difference in this program.
Thank you.
So Mr. No-Hill was right. This is a great opportunity for not just myself, but for my classmates as well. What we do every day is we work extremely hard to prepare for April 27th, which is the Saturday of when the bees are getting here. And going into the school year, I'm not going to lie, I knew absolutely nothing about bees. So that was the first part of it. So Mr. No-Hill didn't only teach me about bees and the behaviors and really what they do on their day-to-day, like Wes said, but also how much work it actually takes to maintain the hive and what we're not going to have to do, but what we're going to have to do, but also what the future is also going to do. And I think I'm also super excited for the future, right, Mr. No-Hill? Mm-hmm. The future, because they're also super lucky. But really, I can't thank Mr. No-Hill enough for teaching me so much about this, because now I'm super entertained about it, and I really want to, what I was thinking is maybe start my own hive when I'm older. Mr. No-Hill inspired me to do that, because it's such a great opportunity to make your own honey, because I know that my whole entire class loves Mr. No-Hill's honey. He brought it in for us countless amount of times, right, Mr. No-Hill?
Sounds like a commercial.
The hot honey is a class favorite, I gotta say. But really, I'm so excited, and my class has worked extremely hard, and our teamwork aspect of the whole entire class is also what I find super important, because being an athlete here, working together, and my teamwork aspect is super important to me. So I'm super excited for April 27th, and thank you, Mr. No-Hill, for everything you've taught me this year.
Anyone else? No? Is anyone taking their experiences and their passion and doing something in the future in college or anything else as far as our agriculture or anything else?
Not for college, but maybe as a hobby, so I know that about it.
Okay. Same? Okay.
I was curious about the fencing. It came up at a board meeting when we were talking about like the initial phases of this, and I could be wrong, but from what I understand, there's actually a functionality to it. You had touched on it earlier, but can you just speak to that in terms of how the bees interact, like the wind, like something about that?
Right. So let me just figure this out first. There we go. So looking at the apiary shed right there, the bees are going to be on the opposite wall that we're looking at on the back wall, and so the safety fence around there will act as a little bit of a windbreak, but that's really to keep people and just keep everybody and everything at a safe distance. But on the back side of that shed, the hives will be on that back wall, and as they exit, they've only got a short distance, about 6 or 8 feet, before they hit the fence line property that we have outlining the property of the campus. We also put in the privacy slats into that fence to make it a little bit more solidified. And the idea behind that is as the bees exit, once they start flying, they're going to be forced upward. And when bees are upward, that's where we want them. We don't want them down low. So by having them hit that back fence with the privacy screening in there, it's going to force them upward and to fly at a height where we're never going to see them. And then they come down. So that's where we want them. We don't want them at ground level or eye level. We want them up, and that's going to force them up.
Thanks, that's awesome. It's really cool.
Why not the privacy on all 4 sides?
So we don't have any privacy screening.
Oh, that's beyond.
It's on the
Okay,
on the boundary fence for the campus. That's where we put it. Okay.
Really cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming.
It's really exciting.
Okay.
Dr. Palicelli and Mr. Paranello and Mr. No, I do believe, aren't the 5th graders coming to learn from the high school students this week? Next week? Coming.
I think You meant they were coming back to learn about budgets.
No. But, yeah.
Yeah, I would stay if I were you.
Third graders already got wind of it, and they are asking to come too, so I think we might actually see if we can add on an extra trip for our
Wow.
That'd be great.
Because it ties right into the third grade curriculum too.
Great.
So down the road, so it's exciting.
Cool.
Nice.
That's great.
Mm.
Thank you. Thanks for coming tonight. Mr. Arcuri, you're up next with the budget presentation.
And a song?
Yeah, of course.
Stage left.
Actually,
Where's everyone going?
Jimmy, you gonna drink that water?
I was talking about the one from the vacant desk.
I'm gonna steal another one if you don't. Thank you.
Well,
He
as
said- he
typical.
said it's good.
One day you'll go first.
I'm okay. I like it.
You weren't gonna sing, right?
When I'm done, Under the Sea.
Okay.
Tonight, we are at our final budget development meeting for the 2024-2025 budget development process. I think tonight's presentation by the students really actually shows us the rich program that the district's budget purchases. Those were just a couple of examples of how much the budget is able to drive opportunity from students. State aid update. Budget should have been adopted on April 1st. The state budget is currently still late. Late yesterday, the governor did a press release. Some are calling it too soon. However, she's very confident there are parameters of a conceptual agreement in place. Assuming with what has been shared with us publicly, any changes inside of state aid would not amount to a large increase or a decrease for the Shoreham-Wading River state aid. So again, tonight's budget, based on the executive budget data provided to us on January 16th. The tax levy history the last 7 years, the average increase over 7 years has been 1.3%. The budget history over the last 7 years has been 2.24%. We continue to stay at or below the tax cap. There were 2 years out of 7 where the district actually did not levy to the limit. I think putting these slides side by side, the past presentations, I had presented them on 2 different slides. It really does show you just how important providing the most efficient process, economies and efficiencies throughout the budget development process. One of the things that Mr. Poole has consistently requested of everyone, every person involved in the budget development process, look at it, look at the numbers, come up with the most economic, efficient way to produce the most robust student-centered program. And I really do think it just shows you how fortunate we have been in able to provide the program that we're able to provide without asking for the taxpayers to carry a burden larger than what the tax levy limit formula allows us to ask them to carry. We only have a single proposition on the May ballot. It's a 2024-25 budget. The proposed budget maintains all programs, maintains current class size, includes a transfer to capital fund budget line, includes the use of prior year's state aid as a revenue source. Again, as I has mentioned at previous meetings, the use of prior year's state aid, this is our last remaining balance of a prior year state aid claim that the district was awarded back in 2008 in order to recoup
shortfalls in state aid payments from previous years to 2008. We are applying it as a revenue source, and it happens to be basically dollar for dollar for the transfer to capital fund budget line. Again, it's an important point that the district, inside of its $36 million settlement, we did not use that revenue towards one-time recurring purchases. We were very cognizant. Past boards of education's administrative team has constantly used it for single expenditure type items, majority of them bringing building aid back to the district. So it's great to see it again, part of the 24-25 budget. The budget includes additional clubs. There are some elementary clubs as well as middle school clubs. It includes funding to replace 50 to 60 interactive smart boards. Mr. Esposito, the Director of Technology, earlier in the school year, came at the November 28th Board of Education meeting to provide a technology update. That technology update can be found on the district's website. It actually lays out that there's 120 smart boards that are past their useful life or experiencing technical difficulties. And it is important. That is a key part to the instructional program. So we are hoping with the funding inside the 24-25 budget that we are able to obtain fair pricing so that we're able to purchase 50 to 60 boards. And if all goes according to plan, the voters support the budget on May 21st. Mr. Esposito is able to kick off a purchasing process, and then hopefully, based on the shipping schedule, receive the boards and actually get them installed before the start of school in September. So he's definitely moving quickly. The plan today is to outfit as many boards inside the high school first, and whatever remaining funding is available, then go to the middle school. The driver for that choice is Miller Avenue and the Wading River building. Both are jam-packed with summer programs. So in order to get the best price, do it during the workday as opposed to an after-hours project, and actually complete it at the two buildings where I do not have too many student activities going on throughout the entire summer. Reflects reductions of contingent funds and does not include funding to cover the shortfall in UPK funding that has been covered previous years by grants. As was pointed out earlier, that is a picture of our unified bowling team. It was the first school year where unified bowling was part of the 23-24 budget, and I just thought it was a fantastic picture.
Undefeated.
Undefeated. Mm-hmm. Great team. The budget highlights, as I mentioned earlier, additional clubs at Miller Avenue, Wading River, and the middle school. Transfer to capital fund. The funding is for electrical infrastructure replacements and upgrades, as well as the construction of 2 additional faculty room restrooms at the Miller Avenue School. The submittal to the state for the Miller Avenue restroom project, as well as the kindergarten playset, was submitted to the State Education Department mid-March. However, they are running 26 weeks in order to get approval. Unless if something quickly changes up in the State Education Department, the bathroom project we are going to try to squeeze in over a break. We are confident. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it over the summer because we will not receive SED approval in time to do so. However, we're confident that the large part of the construction could be done when school is out of session, and then finishing the bathrooms could be done after school hours. Since it isn't taking existing bathrooms out of service,
Right.
we are confident that we're able to do it when school is in session, but over an extended break.
Okay.
With regards to the kindergarten playset, again, once we receive State Education Department approval, that is a project where we could cordon off a small area behind the Miller Avenue building, do the quote, large work when school is out of session. And from what the various vendors that we've spoken to, weather permitting, it is a 7-day project. It should be quick, in, out, done. Both of those projects are aidable projects too. So it is important to go through the SED process, not just as a point of process, but as a point of obtaining aid. A couple of new high school courses: digital literacy, pre-advanced placement, world history and geography, writing lab and writing center, and then cybersecurity elective. 24-25 budget reflects a 4% increase, or $3,389,104. As I mentioned earlier, it is important to note that the transfer to capital fund has an offsetting revenue relating to the use of prior year state aid. So if there wasn't a transfer to capital fund budget line in a 24-25 budget, there wouldn't be a use of prior year state aid. The actual expenditure increase would be 2.02%. Summary of expenditures. We covered each and every category at our previous budget development meetings. But again, it is important to show majority of our funding, over 70%, pertains to staffing. Transportation makes up the next largest piece. Debt and transfers, when you look at the debt and transfer line, $1,676,000 pertains to the transfer to capital. Again, it's just important to point out these are the categories. It shows you where we are not a manufacturing facility. We are a people business. So it's important to know that our funding continually goes to staffing. Proposed budget summary in 3-part form. Administrative component reflects a 5.42% increase. Capital, again, tied to the transfer to capital fund line, shows a 13.43% increase, and program reflects a 2.1% increase. Contingent budget facts, again, this is a required slide. You'll see it as part of the 6-day notice that will be mailed to your home, part of the property tax report card that will be presented to you this evening for consideration. And if the budget were to be defeated May 21st, the district has the opportunity to put another budget forward in June. If that budget were to also be defeated, we are required to keep the tax levy at the 23-24 value. So in addition to keeping the tax levy at that value, we have required reductions. We would be required to reduce the equipment funding, $970,000. A large chunk of that, over $300,000, pertains to the smartboard replacement project. We would be required to remove the transfer to capital line item. There's also another component pertaining to the administrative cap requirement. Your administrative budget cannot increase from the previous year a greater value than what your program budget is being decreased by. Again, if the circumstances were to come to light that the budget was defeated, we would be doing a lot more deeper dive into the contingent budget process. But this is the required overview to be provided as part of the budget presentation process, budget development process. Any questions so far? Revenue budget, again, just to recap, state aid, we are using the executive budget value released on January 16, 2024, $16,886,957. State aid reflects a 0.27% increase, or $45,069. We had a decrease in building aid, primarily related to an ADA project that was done in 2010, 2009. That's aid falling off of the books. Pilot and other local revenue. Again, I am showing this. There's a new revenue line related to student fees. As I presented previously, if the district is providing chaperones where parents or guardians are going, however, they're covering the cost themselves, the parent or guardian, we are required to budget for that exposure on the expenditure side, as well as record a revenue for student fee income. Again, it is another compliancy item, but that's $160,000, $158,000 that both increase the expenditure budget. However, there's an offsetting revenue here. Again, I just covered the district reserve balances, and as well as anticipated use. We plan on using $1 million of the ERS reserve, $550,000 of the workers' compensation reserve, $104,000 of the unemployment reserve, and as I had mentioned, prior year state aid, $1,676,921 of that reserve. Now that reserve, as of June 30th, only had $928,000 in it. However, on February 6th, we transferred money back in that was not spent. We were able to bring the high school art suite project, as well as the high school physical health and wellness project in under budget. So we were able to transfer the $694,000 back to the prior year state aid account. Tax levy limit calculation, we are not looking to pierce. A simple majority only. Our allowable tax levy limit is 2.5224%. And at this time, the building aid value is based on the executive budget value that was released on January 16th, 2024. Revenue budget in its totality, we're showing a tax levy increase of 2.52%, state aid 0.27% increase, other local revenue 5.75%. We're showing a reduction in appropriated fund balance by 1.75%. We're showing a 100% increase in use of prior year state aid, again tied to the transfer to capital line. We technically cannot make that connection. There's an expenditure budget and the revenue budget. There are two different budgets. I'm making that connection so that hopefully everyone understands the transfer to capital fund line is not coming at any cost to the taxpayer. It's being funded 100% by a specific reserve that was put in place specifically for voter-approved capital projects. By supporting the budget, they are voter approving the use of these funds for a capital project that is a transfer to capital fund line in the expenditure budget. Employee retirement system use, the same as the previous year, $1 million. Unemployment reserve, $104,000, same as the previous year. Workers' compensation, $550,000. And we are using the debt service fund. This is surplus money that was left over based on interest earnings from when we were doing the bond. You have to put that money in a dedicated debt service fund and begin to use that money to offset your debt service payment. So at this time, we have a little less than $600,000. We have 8 years left on the bond, so we're going to be applying approximately $75,000 annually to the next 8 budgets. Again, this is the budget in the summary format. Any questions?
No, I think we're...
No questions? You
Not at
sure?
all.
You sure?
Not at all, Alex.
Not
Alex
even
has
one?
heard this a couple
Okay.
times.
Again, tonight is the budget adoption by the Board of Education. It'll be presented to them in a resolution tonight. Tomorrow, the Shoreham Civic Association at the Miller Avenue Building. It'll be presented. April 25th, Wading River Civic Association meeting. May 7th, the budget hearing, which is a Board of Education meeting. And May 9th at PTA Council. Leisure Glen still does not want us. A lot of arm twisting, I've tried. All of the past budget presentations can be found on the district's website, and also on the district website, additional business office documentation, whether it's external audits, school lunch fund transparency reporting, all the required reporting for internal audits, external audits, claims audits can all be found on the district website. Thank you.
Okay, as we come into the home stretch, Mr. Curie, I'd like to thank you. I know there's a lot of thought and preparation that goes into it. You know, it's not even just the planning of getting the budget ready, but it's, you know, trying to life cycle through all these projects, trying to figure out, well, when can I start them, when can I not start them? So, you know, I thank you, Mr. Poole, and the rest of the cabinet for all of the effort that you put into that. And
Thank you. One of the things that I could guarantee you, without everyone's help, and everyone has a role in it, some way, somehow, I don't do it alone, and I am very, very grateful for the support here. Compared to some colleagues' experiences that are shared, I'm very, very fortunate to just have the support from both the cabinet level, administration level, and even the staff level. You know, a grounds person has no problem saying, you know, you keep telling me you want this, I could get it done, but if you got me this piece of equipment, I could get it done better. So to just have that relationship, whether it's the auto mechanic, whether it's the science lab assistant who needs something, it's just nice to definitely know they're willing to ask. And that they might not always get what they're asking for, but the fact that they're asking provides us the best opportunity to actually create the richest program here, and that I'm very, very
It's a great
fortunate
culture,
for.
yeah.
That I'm very, very fortunate for.
thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I just want to thank everyone for the fact that we're not letting any teachers go. I mean, neighboring districts are not fortunate enough to be in that same position. There's a lot of varying factors that go into all of that, but I just, as a parent in this district, I just thank you for that.
Okay, so moving on. Votes and resolutions. We're going to come up with the regular public meeting minutes of March 26th. I think everyone was here that night. I don't think there were any. I looked earlier, but just double check me on that.
Everyone here?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Can I have a motion to, Mike, second? Katie? Any discussion or questions? Good to vote? All in favor? 5-0. Moving on, April 2nd, regular public meeting minutes. Same question. Think we're good, right?
Katie was absent.
I was absent
You were, okay, so we'll abstain, you'll abstain on that one, right? Okay. Can I have a motion? Megan, second Jim. Discussion or questions? No? All in favor? 4-0. And 1 for abstention. And moving on, approval of the CPSE, CSE, and 504 meeting minutes summary memo dated April 3rd, 2024. Can I have a motion? Katie, second Megan. Questions, discussion? No? All in favor? 5-0. And approval of the March 2024 Treasurer's Report. Can I have a motion? Jim, second. I guess I'll second it. Henry, questions or discussions? No? Okay. All in favor? 5-0. That brings us to approval of policies, second reading, and adopted as presented. Will you be going through your soliloquy here and?
Not unless I have to.
Okay, all right, so we have quite a few policies. This is the second reading, so I don't know, let me have a motion first. Jim, second Megan. Any questions or discussions? No? Okay. In good shape then. All in favor? 5-0. Okay. Moving on to, let's see, Board of Education resolutions. So I have 6 of them. Is it okay to take them as a block? Yeah? Okay. Can I have a motion to, what is it? Numbers?
216 to 220.
Thank you. 23-24, 216 through 23-24, 221. Megan? Second, Jim? Discussion or questions? No? All in favor? 5-0. I'd like to thank SEPTA for their generous donation in supporting special education. And I'd also like to thank the Andrew Morris Foundation for their Phase 2 donation for the amphitheater. Thank you very much, and for contributing to the completion of that project. Okay, good. All right. Moving on. Curriculum and instruction resolutions. I have 4 of them. It's 23-24-222 through 23-24-225. Can I have a motion? Katie, second. Okay, me again. All in favor? Oh, any questions or discussions? No? Good. Okay, all in favor? 5-0. I see no human resources tonight, resolutions. Business and operations, we have quite a few there. Is it okay if we take those as a block? Great. So we're going, I'm gonna ask for a motion for 23-24-226 through 23-24-241. Can I have a motion? Jim, second. Megan? Any questions, comments? You got one?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, for
Okay.
231,
231.
the additional
Supply and
barrier
install?
arm.
Okay.
There wasn't a drawing included. What additional driving lane is that barrier arm going to be installed or deterring traffic?
When you come into the high school, you have 2 options when you get to the guard. When you get to the guard booth, you could go right, which will bring you up to the main high school lot. There is currently a arm there. We are currently putting one on the opposite side, so it's the east side of the guard booth. Primarily to, the only people that should be going to the back are people coming to district office and or for deliveries. There are a few staff members that actually park there, but throughout the activity of the day, it is primarily visitors. It's important for us to know who is actually coming. It was a recommendation from our sheriff's audit. It's going to be a shorter arm so that people turning out of the main lot who currently are cutting into the southbound lane, so we're going to make it a little bit shorter, but the person manning the guard booth now is going to be controlling 2 arms, both going up to the main lot as well as going to what I'm considering, quote, quote, the district office back lot.
That would be up during evening hours, like the.
Very, very similar to the
Yeah.
one on the other, yes.
Illuminated, everything, same.
Exact style, with just the length is going to definitely be shorter because they do cut into the southbound lane when they're turning, coming out of the main lot.
Thanks.
Good. Jim? Good? Oh, I thought you had a question. All right, good. The 23-24-240 declaration of obsolete equipment. So we're removing 2 Jeeps from service?
We are taking two Jeeps out. We did receive the two new security vehicles.
Oh, okay. That was really the question.
The 2 that I'm taking out of, the 2 that are being taken out of service, parts for them are becoming more and more difficult, and they've been very good to us.
Yeah.
They've been very, very good.
Yeah, no, so we already have the new unit,
We have
so.
the two replacement vehicles, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, We good to move on to personnel?
We have to vote
Oh,
on
I'm sorry, I didn't do the vote. Okay, so, all in favor? I did do a motion, right? Did I do a
Yes.
motion on
Yes,
it?
you
Okay,
did.
yeah. All in favor? Yep, 5-0. Okay. Moving on, personnel. Can I have a motion? Jim, second Katie. Any questions, discussions? No? Okay, all in favor? 5-0. Communications.
Yes.
There's your chance for tonight.
It's not a soliloquy.
Let's go.
I just have an announcement. The absentee and early mail ballot applications can be found on the district website under voter information and in district office starting on April 22nd and must be submitted to the district clerk's office. May 14, 2023 is the last date to submit an absentee or early mail ballot application if the ballot mailing is needed. May 20th, 2024, I apologize, May 20th, 2024 is the last date to submit an absentee or early mail ballot application if the ballot is collected in person. And May 21st, 2024 is the budget vote and board election. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any further discussions? No? Okay. Additional comments from residents?
No.
No? Okay. So I'd like to entertain a motion to,
A good idea for all time's sake.
floor is yours. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Can I have a motion? Mike, second Jim, all in favor? 5-0. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.